Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are in the right place at the right time. It is the noon report right here on Street News Now, and I am your host, Dr. Ron. I'm so glad to see you guys drop in and see what we got going on today, as usual. Before we get started, I always have to give a shout out about my mentor. My mentor, Dr. Hunt, and I have been traveling in life together for 30 plus years. And out of those 30 plus years, he has been a blessing to both me and my family, as well as I have been a blessing to him and his family. So people ask the question, well, why do you talk about your mentor so much? Well, the reason why I talk about my mentor is because I want to show you the value of having a mentor, someone that can help you through rough times, bad times, all of the things that are going on in life. They can help you navigate. So I talk about my mentor so that you can get a mentor, somebody that can be a blessing to you and your family, and you can be a blessing to them and their family. So I shout them out every chance I get because I want to encourage you to get a show so you can shout out your mentor, and then you can be a blessing. Okay. So let's move on. I got a little list of things I want to talk about on today. The first thing I want to talk about is the poor government that's going on in Country Club Hills, Illinois. Now, many people may not know what that is across the world, but Country Club Hills has got a government that has decided to get into the entertainment business. Now, I've been in the entertainment business for 50 plus years. So it's not a very easy business to get into. If you don't know what you're doing, it can lead into a lot of wasted money. And anybody that's been in my situation, who's produced shows, who's worked on shows that were not productive enough to be able to make money off of them, it's a very bad situation to be a part of. And the city of Country Club Hills, with the mayor, uh, Ford, and his city manager, which is something they shouldn't have anyway, a city manager and a full-time mayor, but they do. They are in the entertainment industry, and they're causing year after year deficits for the city and the residents of Country Club Hills. So I've heard last week they had a concert, and the mayor got booed 10 whole minutes by the population of the people that was in the concert, that were there to see the concert. They understand how poor the government is operated. We don't have people in positions of city services. We don't have building inspectors. We don't have people that are necessary to run the city. So if I call up to City Hall, the mayor's assistant doesn't get back to you. The city manager, which is the mayor's assistant, won't call you back. And it's very difficult to reach a person who's not interested in doing his job. And the mayor doesn't have anything in place for you to reach out to him to say, hey, why is this city employee who is, really working for me not doing his job? Because they're out doing something else that they, feel is more important. So providing services for the city is horrible, horrible. So I always got to let you know what's going on the street, and got to keep it real. I found something very interesting in the news headlines today. A judge made a ruling to hinder, now listen how I say this, to hinder President Biden's social media. Now I said, wow, look at that. How do you make a ruling to hinder a president's social media when we had a whole president, Trump, the last one, that's all he did was feed information to the social media. So the response from the White House was that this ruling will hurt and have an effect on how the White House can counteract disinformation. So disinformation has been going on continuously since the last president got out of office. He has been out there spreading lies and talking about things. The mega movement has been spreading lies, but they don't want anybody to counteract that. So the White House they have gotten sued and they have got a ruling against them. So now I'm sure they're going to appeal. But I find that very interesting that politics is so dirty that they went to court. They went to court in order to file a complaint against the White House staff or the president trying to fight against disinformation. Really crazy. I found this quite interesting too, and I'm sure you do too. The Secret Service found cocaine in the White House on Sunday. This past Sunday, I don't know how they found it. They were doing an inspection and they found a strange white powder. And then they sent it to the lab. And when they sent it to the lab, it came back cocaine. So it is confirmed that the White House found, they don't say how much cocaine, but they found a white powder that turned out to be cocaine in the White House. Now, the question becomes, as tight as security is in the White House, and they got cameras everywhere. So I'm sure they will be able to find out who left it there, whose pocket it came out of. Did it fall on the floor? Was it in one of the offices? Because everybody was off on Sunday. Nobody was there. The president or any of his family was not present, but the security team was. So was this an attempt to further try and slander the current administration by dropping white powder in the White House? Man, come on now. That's an old trick. You know, it might work if they were there. You know, somebody left it on the desk and was getting a little party on before they went out to go have a good time on the holiday weekend, but it was found on Sunday. Nobody was there. The family wasn't there. So it had to be left there by one of the staff or one of the security personnel. And I'm sure, I am 100% sure, when they replay the videos that go on in the White House, because everything that goes on in the White House is covered under video surveillance. So they know exactly who did it. Now, will they tell us who did it? Will they show us the video? That's another question. I found something else that was quite interesting in my search for news. I thought this was quite interesting. Putin, yes, that's the president in Russia, was trying to head off a coup by giving the troops an 11% raise in salary. Now, that's interesting because he's been fighting this war for over a year and people are dying and people are losing ground in Russia. Every time they look around, every time they conquer something or destroy something, they wind up having to give it back because the people are losing. Russia is losing the battle. And so now they have people that's like, man, why the hell are we fighting this war to prove what ego or to fulfill what ego for Putin, the leader? So he's trying to head off, a coup, because they have coups in Russia quite regularly. So he said, well, I'm going to pay y'all. I'm going to give y'all some more money. And that's exactly what he did. Gave them an 11% raise over whatever salary that they're getting right now to try and head it off. Now, is that enough to stop it? I don't know. But it's interesting that he realizes that, his leadership in Russia is very much in question. So he's in the hot seat right now, trying to convince people, oh yeah, we're winning, we're doing great, but here's only 11% raise. Is 11% raise enough not to come after him to chop his head off and put it on a pole. Hello. So yes, something interesting. And my final comment on today, I was hoping that Lee would join me because Lee's on assignment as usual. But he's traveling down the highway and he might decide to chime in at some point in time before I get out of here. But my final topic to talk about today was Trump opening his mouth again. They found a tape, and we talked about this last week, but I'm gonna bring it up again. Um, he was speaking, his voice was speaking on a tape talking about the documents that were top secret that he was supposed to have declassified and did not have the ability to declassify. You know, these documents are still hurting him in court. Now, you know, any attorney, because most of his attorneys have quit, you know, will tell you keep your mouth shut. Do not say anything. So now the tapes come out, which will be evidence against him in a court of law, and he's still talking publicly about what he did and what he didn't do. And his attorneys are like, okay, I quit. They're falling off very fast and very quickly because they don't want to have anything to do with this. You know, he's not paying them enough money to fight this case when he keeps putting out information that is totally damning to himself. Now they've got a lot of information on him, so keep in mind. Let's count for those that are keeping score. Indictment in New York, state charge. Indictment in Florida, federal charge. Coming up soon, it will be an indictment in Georgia, which will be a state charge. Then he still has the grand jury that's in place for January 6th, which is going to take down quite a few people that are part of the mega crowd because they were part of the coup that they thought was going to overturn the Biden administration and allow them to be on the right side of a coup. Didn't work. So now they're in the hot seat. The January 6th Commission exposed a great many of false representatives that were going to bring in some votes and ballots talking about, the electoral vote was, you know, that was fake. This is real. Didn't work. So the people that were involved in that coup are still on the hook. So interesting to see how many elected officials that are in place right now are going to be part of that big broom that's going to sweep through and grab as many of them as they can, because those are federal charges that they're going to have to answer to. So that's enough for me to complain about this week. If you're interested in getting a show here on Street News Now, I want you guys to reach out to our administration, send a email, fill out the form on Street News Now, and send it in, and someone in our administration will get back in contact with you about what kind of show that you want to do and what kind of content that you're going to be putting out and what kind of time frames that are available in order for you to be able to do your show. So if you're interested, please fill out the information. Somebody in administration will get back to you to help you get your show on the schedule. Now, keep in mind, we have been receiving requests for shows, and those shows will be joining us real soon. So do not hesitate. If you're interested in putting the show on Street News Now, get in there, get your information in, lock down your time slot so we can get you up and going. So please don't hesitate. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Please share the network with somebody. There's some people out here that are not familiar with Street News Now. I don't know how they can miss it, but please tell somebody about the show. Tell them you want to, hey, I got something I want you to look at. Okay. So now the other thing is, I hope you had a great holiday. I know if you're listening to the show, you have survived the holiday for the most part. So if you're wounded or hurt, at least you made it to the other side. So please stay safe. It's extremely warm all across the country. Some places are experiencing 90, 100 degrees. So please stay safe, stay cool. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. Stay in. And I'm going to see you guys next Wednesday. So I love you guys, and ain't nothing you can do about it. See you soon.